I don't think this video is going to go down too well. Now, before I begin the video, I just want to say that if you hear random sound effects in the video, it's because, you'll be watching the censored version, because YouTube doesn't even like discussion on this topic. But anyway, hello and welcome to today's video. And today I'm going to be going over the mystery of Gary Smith's swastika. Now, it is claimed that in a beta version of Buddy, Gary Smith originally had a swastika on his Halloween outfit, potentially also having actual SS insignia on his collar too. But is this actually true, or is it just a bullshit rumour? Now, I believe this rumour first surfaced in the early 2010s when someone called Madman claimed he knew a Rockstar Games insider, and this supposed insider revealed to him a few things from Buddy's development. The things that Madman was supposedly told was that Gary Smith was going to die at the end of the game, and Final Showdown had multiple versions. Among this claim was one about Gary Smith's Halloween costume being much more direct. So let's take a look at the evidence for this. Now, Chapter 1 of Buddy strangely has a few references for Nazi. Actually, they're almost back to back. Now, Buddy has this reference in the form of Ernest Jones. Now, he's not Hitler, but many of the people notice that Ernest's flags used in the candidate mission bear a striking resemblance to that of the flags from the Nazi Party. Not to mention, Ernest Jones' speech also mentions a new era, as well as a pure academy. There's a reason why googling Buddy Ernest comes up with this as a result. Now, the second one, of course, is Gary Smith's outfit, which is very clearly an SS officer. After this, there are no more World War II era references in the game again. Now, the person who revealed this information, Madman, was actually proven right on some of the things he claimed, that were also disregarded as far-fetched lies. Most notably, Final Showdown having multiple versions and Gary Smith dying at the end. This was proven right a few years later by data miners. Now, considering this claim was right, it does give a bit of credibility to him and his claims. Now, if you're into beta Buddy, then you'll know that Buddy was an incredibly dark game during its development, being much more violent and sinister, such as mentioned, having Gary Smith dying, Jimmy falling in acid, drowning, and even having plans for the janitor to have a much more sinister secret of his own. So having a character dress up in an offensive costume fits in quite well with that dark and sinister vibe. I guess you could consider it dark comedy. Now, this one might just be grasping at straws, but in many forms of comedy, it was common for parties to be the butt of a joke, usually by having somebody dress up as, say, Hitler, and having him do something that makes him a complete laughingstock. So considering Buddy's style of being a comedy game, it would make sense for that. But this is where we slide into the evidence against this, because even in the original Halloween mission, Gary wasn't really the butt of any jokes, rather him antagonising Pete was the recurring gag of the mission. Now, of course, one definitive way to check is to look at pre-release screenshots and trailers, and unsurprisingly, not a single sign of Gary's swastika is anywhere to be seen. So what about going through the game files? Check the PS2, the PC, and even the beta Wii builds, and this alternate outfit for Gary is nowhere to be seen. So that must mean it's fake, right? Just a rumour that's not been proven. Well, don't disregard it as fake just yet. Why? Because I have something in my possession that is much earlier than any of them. No, I don't have a beta PS2 build or anything like that, I wish I did, but I have the Brady Game Strategy Guide. And this guide, for some reason, has a lot of beta info in it, such as class reward changes, map changes, beta HUDs, that kind of stuff. So if we get the guide out and we go to the Halloween section of the guide, we can very clearly see in the Halloween cutscene what looks like a red armband on Gary's arm. Now, of course, this image is quite low quality and we can't actually see the logo, but it is known that wore red armbands with a swastika on the side. So this image basically sort of confirms it. Gary Smith actually had the armband. But strangely, in the other Halloween mission screenshots, Gary has no red armband. So why is this? Well, this is actually because the Brady Games guide was made at a point when the characters' designs weren't finalised, and this can be seen in some other screenshots which show Russell Northrop's beta vest, which was the original room trophy for Jimmy, despite the Buddies at this point ditching the vests entirely, and in the final game, Russell's vest is replaced with his shirt, as well as the Winter Radar and even the cutscene models for Lola, Chad and Algernon not being finished. So let's quickly go over why this was removed, and no, this isn't just because of SJW censorship like people bitch about nowadays. This was because at the time of Buddy's release, Germany had a very, very strict ban on the use of Nazi imagery. This law was called the I can't pronounce that, I'm sorry, but Section 86A, and it banned all use of the logo outside of art, science, research or teaching. Now this law actually did affect many games such as the Call of Duty franchise and the Wolfenstein series. Of course that makes sense as World War II was sort of a heavy basis on those series. And of course bully has absolutely nothing to do with World War II, but had bully featured this swastika, it means that bully may have either been banned in Germany, or the Germans would have had a slightly different version where Gary's swastika wasn't visible. Probably the version of Gary we know from the final Halloween mission where it's not visible. Bully was also a very controversial game, as we all know, but speaking realistically, it would have only been more ammunition for people who were against Bully being released, who would most likely claim that the game glorified or you played as one yourself. Now yes, of course we all know that is definitely not true, but these activists made all kinds of nonsense claims against Bully such as it being racist, sexist, a Columbine simulator, some kind of manhunt and GTA mashup, you beat up teachers, that kind of stuff. So that about wraps up today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more bully based content on that. So thank you for watching and have a great day.